Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are well. So today we're going to be diving straight through to scripture, and we're reading from Matthew chapter 22, verse 37. And in this context, Jesus is being tested by the Pharisees about which commandment is the greatest. And he replies, right? He said to him, "Y'all, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself." So we generally know that there are 10 commandments. And as you read through the Old Testament, you find out about extra 613 laws. And they just about daily offenses, right? Different offenses, from daily offenses to actions and how they are taken. And however, Jesus does not concentrate on that, but of the first two, and he summarizes them in a way that we may understand. So he says the first one is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And we've spoken about the first journey of being in the matrix, right? Where we are imprisoned by our toxicities and traumas and actions that are coming from traumatic DNA and also our environment. And we learn through this journey that the heart is the most deceitful above all. That is also part of scripture. We know that the mind can lead you astray. We know that due to our circumstances, we may end up betraying ourselves to want to fit in, to want to be seen and heard. However, through our second phase of being in the wilderness, we go through this journey of detaching from those toxic and traumatic experiences and triggers. And when we are awakened and dwell in the presence of the Lord, that's where we learn to be mindful, right? And everything starts in the mind, right? We generate thoughts and choose which thoughts to ignore, to acknowledge, or to fixate on. And that in turn generates our heart's desires, which are fueled by our emotions, and therefore we take action through our body to ensure this process of mind and heart is brought into creation. That's actually how we create, right? It starts first in the mind. But however, when you love the Lord, that means you are in his dwelling. You know who divine is. You have a relationship. You understand how generally he operates, right? Because God is spirit, right? And spirit has this beautiful order and spontaneity elements that we cannot necessarily pinpoint. But your relationship and foundation with divine gives you a proper understanding of who divine is and what his love comprises of. And we learn how divine loves us. And in turn, we learn to love divine back. We learn to love him or her back. I always thought it should be something natural, that it's God. I should love God. However, my journey has never been that way. There's always been choices put in front of me, and the choices were indicative of how I felt about divine. Meaning that when I go against my inner self, my divine spark, I am showing that I do not love divine. And by going against that innate feeling, I find myself chained or imprisoned and have these feelings of guilt and regret on why did I take this path? Yet these multiple mistakes are lessons that have brought me to this place where I can deem it that I love divine. Because in this world, we learn very quickly that the word I love you gets thrown around. However, love is a doing word. It's something that you actually see through action. But my question also is, what is love itself? Because it's very difficult to understand. But to me, love is a sense of being. And this being has no chains, no shackles. It is who I am. The fact that I choose to extend my hand to help another, that is love. That in certain circumstances, I withdraw my energy, that is love. Sometimes turning my back towards the old, that includes people and situations. That is love. Because I acknowledge even that what was there was good for the time that it was good. However, whether it's turned out sour or just had an abrupt ending, we let it be. However, the experience was worth becoming a memory, and that is love. But how do we truly know that we love ourselves? It's by loving the divine as we love ourselves, and therefore loving another. I've spoken about, and I will come in, we'll make a video that goes in depth with collective divinity. As I said, that the divine spark that is in me is in you and is in everyone around us. Whether someone is still trapped, still going through their journey of awakening, have awakened, have been enlightened, regardless of the case, we are part of divine. So when we hate another person, it's as easy as knowing that we do not love ourselves yet. Because the God that's in me is in you. It's just it experiences life in its own way, which is your life. And it's such the case in everyone's life. So by loving myself, I love divine. By loving myself and divine, I love my neighbor, in spite of what I believe. Because sometimes we have this mindset of, this person wasn't good to me. They were evil towards me. They hurt me. Yeah, but it was a learning curve. And they in their journey of life, which we all know can be difficult at times. There are happy times. There are sad times. There are times to celebrate. There are times to work. And this goes for everybody. So we have the grace to understand that it's not all about me. But what are the odds that the hardship I'm going through, someone else might be going through it? Therefore, we share our love. Thank you.